So this, my friends, is the 2018 Burton Ion, which has just always been such an amazing boot. It just really interacts and turns a board in a different way than almost any other boot I've ever tried. It just feels like it's helping you initiate a turn. It's helping you set up that next turn. It just really feels like I've never felt that integrated ever before. And still to this day, the Ion still does that for me. And that's why it's a favorite, despite its excessive price tag. It just does such a good job turning a board. And yeah, you know, when you look at two of the most expensive boots in Burton's line, you have the SLX and you have the Ion. The SLX has the longevity of flex. It has a much thicker, bigger sole that can, it has a little more shock absorption, maybe a touch more response because of that X thing going on in the back and the front, and it's maybe a touch more aggressive, but you know, the Ion has some other really cool things like the auto cant. You can see this just rolls inward really easy and kind of flexes down, so it's just got its own very subtle mellow cant when you're riding, and it's so cool because it just feels like it just helps with your joints. And then you pair that up with, let's say, a Genesis X. Oh no, they don't have it anymore, but let's say a Genesis or somebody, or a Cartel with the auto cant as well. It just leans in so easy, and it's almost the same as, let's say, a canted binding. And it really lines up your joints well. And you know, I'm not a doctor and I can't say it's going to work for you, but it sure does work for me and my, you know, my busted up joints. So I love that feeling. You know, it's speed lace, so it doesn't quite wrap like this around the ankle like some Focus boas do. However, I like the separation of upper and lower because you can tighten the lower a certain amount and tighten the upper a certain amount, and there's no overlap. So I really like that, and if you do too, then that'll work, but there's no right or wrong. It's just what works best for your ankle. Inside here, I don't know if you can see this, but there is a nice kind of like orange kind of shock absorbent material. It's really springy, and it's nice to have in there because this is a really minimal sole. The sole looks thicker than it is. It's actually probably half this thickness. Maybe not. Maybe, you know, maybe like 3/4 the thickness that you think it is. But it just doesn't feel that shock absorbent. But it does make up for it with less pressure on the joints because of the auto cant. So what I often do though is just get like a really good insole that's really shock absorbent, like Footprint insole technology, or maybe even Remind, or if you can, a custom orthotic. If you want to spend probably 100 to hundreds more for a custom orthotic, you can do that. But if you just need something on the cheap that's really good, you know, like Remind and Footprint insole technology really bump up the shock absorption factor. Like I put in a Footprint insole technology here, and it like doubles the shock absorption of the Ion almost. It's still not somewhere like, let's say, the Adidas Xera. That's like way up there in terms of shock absorption, even if you compare this with the Footprint. So don't think you can just like magically fix it, but you can add to the shock absorption. You know, in terms of flex retention, yeah, the SLX kind of wins there. But if you want to spend even more money, you have this additional option. This is an older, you know, Infinite ride liner. And this used to be in the Ion, but a lot of people, including myself, felt that it was a really hard boot to break in, despite its, you know, longevity of flex and its customizability, because it's closed-tail foam. You can shave, you can heat mold, you can really shape this liner to, let's say, a unique foot, but it takes a hell of a long time to break in, and I've found hot spots like 20 days in, you know, where this is almost like comfort day one. And that's why they went back to this kind of liner, this Life Ride liner. And it's just super soft and cushy, where this just feels like it's just night and day difference. And so you lose a little bit of longevity of flex, but you gain comfort. So if you're only riding, 30 days a year, you want to be comfortable day one so you can enjoy all those 30 days, and you don't want to be getting hot spots and weirdness. You've got a little, rubber reinforcement in the back, but it's pretty thin. It feels even thinner than the years past. I'm not 100% sure, and you've got a little reinforcement in the panel. You got some J bars in there if you need them. You got built-in J bars already in here. I don't know if you can see, probably not. It's very difficult to pick up on camera, but 2 Sizeable J Bars that grip pretty well around your ankle. I love this double wrap Velcro at the top. I think it's one of the best in the industry when it comes to that. You can see there's no more J bars to help retain the flex, so you kind of want to, but they're just so soft it's hard to really have a pressure point. So all in all, the Ions with their rubber sole, they're good traction. They're just smooth, integrated feel with the board. You've got a great, super hard, it's plastic, it doesn't feel rubber, and it just feels like it's never going to break down. It concerns me a little bit. You really need some good rubbery toe straps to really work with these, that really grip and rubbery, like the Genesis X or the new Cartel and that kind of stuff, because this could be slippery if you have, let's say, like a leather material strap from somebody else. But make sure you put rubber on this so it grips, but it's never going to bend in on the sides. As far as I can tell, it'd take a lot of days to do that. So where this flex might break down here, you're going to have a great toe grip. So all in all, you get the Ion not because you're going to get this amazing boot that's going to last like 300 days like the SLX can for some. You're getting this because it just really has one of the most special feelings. It just feels like it integrates with the binding in a board so well, and it feels like it brings you closer to that board. And that's what you're getting the Ion for, and that's why it's still a favorite. So I hope this helps.